Want me to come into university class and present orally despite being ill? Okay. For context, this was pre-2020. Back in my early university years. AKA 2018-2019. It started one Wednesday morning when I woke up feeling like complete and utter crap. This was a problem, as today I was scheduled to do my oral presentation along with other students in one of my classes. But I figured no way would I be wanted to come in sick. And by sick, when I looked in that mirror I was so pale I looked dead. My nose looked like Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. My eyes were so sunken in they were in the back of my head. And I was sweating like hell from a high fever. Oh. And my throat felt like it was made of sandpaper. Yeah. No way was I going into the lecture hall looking like this. So, I went through the normal procedures. Submitting a temporary absence form. Which meant for the absence to be valid I needed to go to a walk-in clinic. Joy. And call any professors, teacher assistants to inform them of my absence. We have a lot of interactive stuff in lectures. It's also common courtesy. Along with an email for a paper trail. My afternoon physics professor understood. My evening teaching assistant for earth sciences was cool with it. My morning chemistry professor? Either you stop lying and come in or it's an automatic 0. Quote, I'm sorry? I've never missed one of your classes even with a minor cold. But this? Okay. Fine then. So, I get up and my mom drives me in. As I didn't get a license yet, long story, and she wasn't working that day, she's self-employed. She's worried about me, but I reassured her that I would only be about 20 minutes max. I get to campus and walk in, heading to my lecture hall. And of course looking like utter crap. Stumbling because I'm also running a really high fever. I got a lot of weird looks. And some students even stopped me to ask if I was okay. I recall responding with something like, I won't be if I'm late for class. When I do get to my lecture hall, I enter 2 minutes late. Professor sees me and goes, Up. About time. Get down here and start your presentation or it's a fail. Quote. Alrighty. I went up, plugged in my laptop to the projector, and released an almighty round of wet coughing. Now my lecture mates are whispering to each other. And professor looks at me startled. But all I remember doing is looking right at the professor. Smiling and saying, very hoarsely, sorry. I'll get started. She quickly tried to send me on my way. But I say, into the microphone, my voice sounding like a sick bear's. No. You said if I don't present it's a 0. I can't fail 20% of my grade. So, off I go, presenting with a hoarse voice. Long, hacking wet coughs, and with occasional almost vomiting. When I finished, I then turned to the professor and asked, again into the mic, do you need me to stick around for the other presentations? Or can I go? Quote, I was on my way to the doctor's within 5 minutes. And wouldn't you know, I had a serious case of the flu. Something that the university did not want you to bring to campus because it could spread like wildfire. Needless to say, when I filed my full absence form with my doctor's note, I mentioned about how my chemistry professor insisted upon me coming to class. I also included a screenshot of the email she sent me while I was being driven in, which stated the same thing she told me over the phone. When I was finally able to return to campus a week later, I was surprised to enter class to see a substitute professor. I later looked at my email and saw a class notification that our original professor was placed on leave. She was let go by the end of the term. I'm a professor and I don't understand this. It's college and they are adults. I always excuse absences. They pay to take my class IDC if they miss it. Likely. This was not her first time doing this type of thing to a student. This is why reporting and always giving a paper trail of bad professors is important. It may not happen after your report, but one never knows what their file looks like. Most people don't realize what they're doing as they dig their own grave. Nice work, op. Edit. Word. All I'm thinking is I wish my university had let us get out of class by going to the nurse. On campus TT there was a nurse's office. You could go there and get a flu test. And they could even give you cold medicine. But they couldn't write you notes to get out of class. Even with a fever. You would have to somehow get to the urgent care off campus, which was 5 minutes by car and a 25-minute walk. And pay for the urgent care visit to get a note. Basically, no one without a car could get a note to get out of class due to illness. I always thought it was BS, but didn't know how it worked at other colleges. Call me a liar and pay the piper. Did you by chance pass the virus to her? Imagine that. In this scenario, obviously and truly sick, but forced to come in, there is only one proper response to make. Insist on documentation that they are requiring you to come in. Come in. Seek out that person. And give them a big, long bear hug while coughing. They will soon become reacquainted with why it was a bad idea. Bonus points for sending the documentation to their boss and suggesting that they be required to come in while sick or be fired. Bye-bye job. I did this with my college boss too, who didn't believe I was sick. Which meant for the absence to be valid I needed to go to a walk-in clinic. Which, as a now retired doctor, pisses me off itself. It is not the job of a doctor to police student attendance for short-term illness on behalf of a university. If the university has such little trust in its students, perhaps there is something drastically wrong with their admissions procedures? But they did at least take the professor's attitude seriously. Was she an adjunct lecturer or what? No professor, actual full professor, would get fired over that. Sweet justice. Thank you for this story. I needed this second-hand satisfaction today. I once got shingles during finals week. The university told me to isolate myself, but none of my professors would allow me to take the finals at a later date. So I just bandaged up the parts of my body with a rash and went in. I have no idea if I infected anyone with chickenpox, but I did try my best to not. So many power tripping a holes. Whether or not you think someone's faking, it's not worth your time to worry about it. You have to account for people not being able to make it and just deal with the extra time you'll have to work. Teaching is a shit job, but you signed up for it. Very nice. Placed on leave. Also known in some industries as, they'll do less damage if we pay them to stay at home. Same thing happened to me in college. Except I had the rigors. Violent shaking. From the flu. My professor was mortified, as were all the other students. Needless to say, I was sent home without any zeros. I went to business college after sucking at normal college. And one of the first things they told us was if you're sick not to come in. No matter how sick. They didn't want you to pass it around. Blew my mind. I love the resolution at the end. I can't help but think of the scene from The Office. U.S. with Kevin doing a motivational speech, eventually being collapsed in a heap and dry heaving. All that's the mere act of delivering that riveting presentation.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.